the show. You're here with me, Amaya. Bright and early this morning, of course, we always bring you the best of what's happening here in Sri Lanka. And of course, we are a sports channel, first and foremost. So this morning, we're going to introduce yet another sport on Good Morning Sri Lanka. I think not something that we've spoken about before, if I'm not mistaken, but it is a sport that has had quite a presence here in Sri Lanka, and that position is only going to get better in the future because there's a great announcement to be made on the show today as well. So I'm speaking today about rally racing, and of course the Asia Pacific Rally Championship, or the FIA APRC, and that's a championship that Sri Lanka will be participating in very soon as well, our very own team. But to give you more information about what exactly this is, we have the coordinator for the Asia Pacific Rally Championship with us on the show this morning, Mr. Murray Brown. Good morning, Murray.
Good morning, Amaya.
It's great to have you on the show this morning. Now you're here in Sri Lanka, the first time, is it? First time in Sri Lanka.
I know it is my third time here in Sri Lanka.
Okay. Yes. So this time you're here for a very special announcement, and I'll let you do the honours yourself.
Yes, thank you. I was invited here by the Easy Racing team to participate and be present at the launch of their rally team, which is going to be competing in the Asia Cup section of the APRC Championship. That happened here in Colombo last night. It was a fantastic evening. Lots of people, lots of media. We had the car on display, introduced the drivers, and it was a particularly great experience.
So it's a great thing that Sri Lanka now has a team representing the country at the Rally Championships. But let's talk about the APRC in general now. How does it work? What's the format that the races use?
Where do I start? How long have we got here?
Just in a nutshell, just to give everyone an idea of what it is.
The Asia Pacific Rally Championship is one of 6 regional rally championships around the world. The Asia Pacific Championship includes obviously Asia, and there's 20 different countries in Asia, of which currently 5 countries are involved in the championship, but also includes 3 Pacific countries, New Zealand, Australia and New Caledonia. The championship this year is 7 rounds. We start in the Pacific countries, and then we move into Asia. We go to Malaysia, which is our first event next month, and then Japan, China, Thailand. So we cover quite a range of countries.
Exactly. I mean, there's a global audience for rally racing, isn't it? But let's speak about the sort of exposure that you have in terms of, the international platform. And what kind of audience do you usually get for rally championships?
Well, we're fortunate that our television production, just television production, is broadcast globally across 27 networks, major sporting networks around the world, 196 countries.
Wow.
A viewership of approximately 700 million people. And those numbers have been confirmed, are credible figures. So we have quite amazing global television coverage. That's our primary.
Yeah, I've never been in a rally car actually, so I have no idea what it's like, but you've been a racer yourself, so I've heard that it's pretty adrenaline pumping stuff.
It's definitely adrenaline pumping stuff, absolutely, even for the driver.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you talk about the safety measures, I mean, are there lots of precautions that you have to take when it comes to this type of racing?
Absolutely. As the Asia Pacific Championship is part of an international series of championships, we run to international safety regulations, and they are very high standards. The sort of thing that your viewers may be used to seeing perhaps in Formula 1 racing, the same sort of suits, helmets, harnesses, fire safety equipment, that all has to be up to an international standard. So it's a dangerous, motorsport is dangerous, no question.
Yeah, of course. And it's always better to be safe than sorry, isn't it? But also, there is a difference between circuit racing and rally racing, isn't it? So maybe some of our viewers are not very familiar with what exactly rally racing is. So what's the difference there between the two?
Well, circuit racing is described in the word. You are just racing around the same circuit, and you may run around that same circuit irrespective of how long it is. You might do it 10 times, you might do it 20 times, you might do it 100 times around the same circuit.
Yep.
Rally racing is closed public roads, so that they're closed to the public and there's no other cars on the road. And you were literally racing the clock from the start of the stage to the end of the stage. And each round is between 200 and 300 kilometres long.
Oh, okay.
Which will be broken up into as many as 15 separate stages on different roads.
Okay, so it really depends on the type of road and I guess the skill of the driver as well. So now Sri Lanka is going to be a part of this championship as well. What do you think about the team that's being put forward?
Well, my experience with the team so far has been very good. We had a great launch last night. They are a professionally organised and managed team, and they are providing or supporting the first Sri Lankan team to enter the Asia Pacific Championship, which is fantastic. And it's not only for the team that it's fantastic, it's also important to recognise the exposure that Sri Lanka as a country will receive from this, because Sri Lanka will be mentioned in all the press releases, the fact that the team is there, the driver is from Sri Lanka.
Of course, and what kind of experience do you need when it comes to becoming a team that can take part in the rally championships? Are there certain criterions that you have to fill out?
The main criteria is meeting the international regulations and standards in terms of safety, international licenses. But the biggest thing is the will and the desire to compete. Anybody can do it if they have the will and the desire to compete. They will find a way to make it happen.
All right then. But when it comes to, the type of experience that the drivers need to have, is it something that you have to really work at when it comes to gaining the skill that you need to sort of negotiate all the curves?
The driver skills have to be very good to be able to compete effectively as a competitor. But anybody can do it. It just depends what you want to do at the end of the day. If you have ambitions to win the championship, your skill level needs to be very high. If your ambition is simply to compete and just have a lot of fun doing it, your skill level need not be so high. But because we go to so many different places, have different experiences, you will learn, or the drivers will learn a great deal from that. Okay,
and you also mentioned that there's a lot of camaraderie between the teams as well when it comes to the rally championships. I think when we were speaking earlier, you said that there's a different sort of atmosphere when it comes to rally racing.
Absolutely. We do try and encourage and foster the family relationship, because when we go to all these different countries, because it's a containerised championship, everything is moved by ocean container around the region. All the teams, the competitors, the officials, or the management team, they are outside of their comfort zone. So we all have to work together to support each other, and we cultivate a family atmosphere where all the teams work together, help each other. If there's a problem, they will chip in and help the other team as well.
Of course, and you also, I think that there are 7 countries who are part of the championships right now. Is that in the Asia-Pacific region?
Yes, there's 7 countries now. There's 3 in Pacific, Australia, New Zealand and New Caledonia. And in Asia currently we have 5, Malaysia, Japan, China, Thailand.
Yeah, and also, I was just going to say that maybe a new country is coming in as well. You mentioned that India might be a part of the rally soon.
Yes, India is very keen to be involved in the championship. We were to have a round in India this year. It didn't happen for a variety of reasons, but they do intend to be in the championship next year.
So maybe we'll see Sri Lanka as part of the rally championships as well in the future.
There's no reason why not. As I've said to many people since I've been here in Sri Lanka this trip, is that if the desire is there, if the want is there, they will make it happen.
But what kind of terrain are you looking for when it comes to holding a race of this nature? Because my experience of rally racing is very limited. So what kind of roads do you need for racing?
Well, predominantly we want gravel roads, and that can be, whether they're just public roads, which are gravel as opposed to tarmac.
Okay.
One of the biggest criteria we have is we have to make those roads secure for the competitors to start the stage and finish the stage, and know that they're not going to meet oncoming traffic. They're not going to find a herd of sheep or cows on the road as they're going along.
Very
you
important,
can imagine,
isn't it?
the problems.
Yes, the logistical problems.
Correct, yes. Yeah. So while we look for roads that are predominantly gravel, we must be able to ensure that those roads are are kept secure, security or integrity of the stage as we call it, it must be secure. So when the drivers are driving on the stage, they know that they're not going to come around a corner and find a surprise there.
Yeah, okay, so there you've got a little bit of a behind the scenes picture, especially if you're a racing fan here in Sri Lanka, then you know that there's a lot of thought that goes into everything that's done, especially in a championship of this nature. But when we speak about what this means for the future of racing in Sri Lanka, you know, Sri Lanka now entering a team into a championship as big as the APRC, what can it really foretell for the future as well?
Well, there's all sorts of possibilities that can be available to, you know, the team as it is, or you know, Sri Lanka as a country. It's simply creating interest in motorsport because of the television coverage that we do generate. I think it will, or I believe it will generate a lot more interest in motorsport here in Sri Lanka. There is a strong base here in Sri Lanka in motorsport, but as has been pointed out to me many times, it's really in its infancy. And you know, when you compare it to other countries immediately close by in the region, for example, India, you know, you can't compare the two because India has had a long experience in rallying in the country. Okay. They want to take the next step and they are ready for it. Sri Lanka could be ready for it, but there's a lot of things that have to happen in between times.
Of course, but I'm sure with the experience that gentlemen such as yourself, Maria, bringing in from the APRC administration as well, that Sri Lanka can go a long way. And we're going for a very short break here on Good Morning Sri Lanka, but don't go anywhere. We will be back with the news of Sri Lanka representing itself for the first time at the Asia Pacific Rally Championships. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.